You want to own a Formula One team, not drive the car. Own the team itself. The factory, the engineers, the wind tunnel, the drivers, the sponsors, the entire machine responsible for moving several hundred people around the world to compete in the most expensive racing series ever created. From the outside, it looks like a sports business. "20 drivers racing cars around glamorous cities while billionaires watch from hospitality suites." That is the marketing version. The reality underneath is an engineering arms race that has destroyed more fortunes than it has created, operating inside a business model so structurally strange that even the people running it sometimes cannot fully explain why it works. For most of Formula One's history, owning a team was one of the fastest ways on Earth to lose money. Even now, with the sport more globally popular than at any point in its 70-year existence, teams spend hundreds of millions annually chasing performance advantages, measured in thousands of a second. Here is why billionaires keep buying in anyway. A Formula One car is not a car. It is a rolling aerospace project that happens to have wheels. A modern F1 car costs over $15 million in development before the season starts. The steering wheel alone costs around $50,000 and contains more computing interfaces than most aircraft cockpits. The power unit, the hybrid internal combustion and electrical system that propels the car, costs over $10 million across a season's allocation and operates at thermal efficiency levels no road car manufacturer has come close to replicating. At 300 kilometers per hour, the aerodynamic downforce generated is sufficient to theoretically drive the car inverted through a tunnel. The brakes reach over 1,000 degrees Celsius during heavy braking. Drivers experience lateral G-forces comparable to fighter pilots while simultaneously making split-second strategic decisions based on live telemetry data being transmitted to the pit wall. None of this is cheap and none of it is optional. Every component on the car is simultaneously trying to be lighter, stronger, faster, and more reliable than the equivalent component on every other car in the field. The engineering pressure is total and continuous, and it has consumed enormous amounts of money from organizations that should have known better. Toyota spent years in Formula One and reportedly billions of dollars without winning a single race. BMW entered the sport, built competitive infrastructure, and left when the investment stopped making sense against the return. Honda has entered and exited the sport 3 separate times across different eras. Porsche evaluated entering seriously on multiple occasions and walked away each time after examining the economics. These are not small companies making naive decisions. They are sophisticated manufacturers that looked at the numbers and decided the cost of competing properly exceeded what the sport could return to them. Because the central problem of Formula One has always been this: winning is expensive, but losing is expensive too. A struggling team at the back of the grid still employs hundreds of people: aerodynamicists, composite specialists, data analysts, race strategists, mechanics working through the night before qualifying, logistics staff managing thousands of pieces of equipment across 5 continents, hospitality crews constructing and deconstructing branded environments at every circuit. A Formula One team at its smallest is still a substantial aerospace company that happens to travel internationally every 2 weeks. The travel alone is staggering. Formula One races across 24 circuits in a modern season. Cars, spare components, garage infrastructure, simulator equipment, hospitality structures, and tools for every conceivable mechanical situation all get packed into cargo aircraft and redistributed globally on a schedule that does not accommodate delays. When the series goes from Las Vegas to Abu Dhabi in consecutive weekends, entire operations relocate across the planet, while engineers simultaneously analyze data from the previous race and prepare configurations for the next one. The logistics bill is enormous before any engineering work is counted. The driver market adds another layer of financial complexity. Max Verstappen earns over $50 million annually before bonuses and commercial arrangements. Lewis Hamilton's contract with Ferrari is believed to exceed that figure once the full structure is included. These numbers look absurd until you understand what elite drivers actually represent commercially. A championship caliber driver does not just win races, they attract sponsors. Sponsors generate revenue. Revenue funds engineers. Engineers develop faster cars. Faster cars attract better sponsors. The cycle compounds aggressively in one direction when it is working and equally aggressively in the other direction when it is not. A team that falls behind technically finds that sponsors become harder to retain, which reduces the budget available to close the technical gap, which makes the competitive position worse, which makes the sponsorship problem worse. Several teams have followed this spiral into administration. Sponsorship is the economic foundation the sport was built on. Tobacco companies understood Formula One's value proposition before most other advertisers did. Global broadcast exposure to wealthy audiences, sustained across a full season, with the brand physically present on the most technologically impressive objects in motorsport. Marlboro's relationship with Ferrari lasted decades and shaped the visual identity of the sport's most recognizable team. When tobacco advertising was banned progressively across major markets, the sport had to rebuild its commercial model around technology companies, luxury brands, energy drinks, financial services, and government-backed entities from regions using Formula One for international visibility. Oracle pays Red Bull substantial amounts annually as title sponsor. Petronas has sponsored Mercedes through their most dominant period in the sport's history. Ferrari's commercial partnerships now include HP. During the cryptocurrency boom, digital asset companies flooded into the sport, FTX, Crypto.com, and others paying significant sponsorship fees before several collapsed with minimal notice, leaving teams managing sudden gaps in committed revenue mid-season. The volatility of certain sponsor categories creates financial planning problems that have no clean solution. A primary title sponsorship can exceed $50 million annually. The largest teams generate over $600 million in total yearly revenue across sponsorships, prize money, manufacturer support, licensing, and commercial partnerships. The prize money distribution itself is structured to favor historically successful teams, which means teams like Ferrari and Mercedes receive larger shares of the commercial pot than midfield or smaller operations, compounding existing advantages. Cost caps change the business in ways nobody fully anticipated. Before their introduction, major manufacturer-backed teams spent between $300 and $500 million annually, with some estimates placing real expenditure higher once factory costs and shared infrastructure were included. The cap, it's set around $135 million for core operations with various exclusions, was treated with skepticism when announced and is now considered one of the most significant structural changes in the sport's history. What the cap actually did was make Formula One teams look like investments for the first time. When spending was unlimited, team ownership was a vanity project or a manufacturer marketing exercise. When spending was capped, the competitive playing field became more level, prize money became more meaningful relative to total budget, and the underlying asset, the team entry, the infrastructure, the technical knowledge, the sponsor relationships, started holding and growing in value rather than being continuously consumed by uncapped expenditure. Then Drive to Survive arrived and changed the audience entirely. Netflix's documentary series did something no marketing campaign had managed to do across Formula One's entire history. It made the sport emotionally accessible to people who had never watched a race. The team rivalries, the driver tensions, the political maneuvering between constructors and the commercial rights holder. Content that previously existed only in industry publications became global entertainment. American viewership grew dramatically. Younger audiences arrived. The demographic profile of a Formula One fan shifted toward exactly the profile luxury advertisers and technology companies most wanted to reach. Miami joined the calendar. Las Vegas joined at fees that shocked even Formula One insiders. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi became anchor events backed by sovereign investment. The sport stopped behaving like motorsport and started behaving like luxury media infrastructure with a racing competition attached, which changed what team ownership actually meant. There are 10 Formula One teams. Entry into the sport requires approval from existing teams and the commercial rights holder under a system specifically designed to limit dilution of the existing commercial pool. A new entry fee was set at $200 million, payable to existing teams as compensation. The combination of that barrier, the capped spending environment, the growing revenue base, and the expanding global audience turned the 10-team licenses into something genuinely scarce. McLaren was valued at around $1 billion when a consortium, including Michael Dell and others, acquired a stake in 2020. Sauber, operating as a midfield team without manufacturer backing for significant periods, was valued at around $400 million during ownership discussions. Williams, despite years of poor results, was sold to Doralton Capital in 2020 for a price reflecting the value of the entry itself more than the team's competitive standing. Alpine's parent company has been exploring minority stake sales at valuations exceeding $1 billion. The assets being purchased in these transactions are not principally the cars, or the factories, or the engineering talent. They are the regulated right to participate in a fixed-size competition that cannot be replicated or entered without approval from the existing participants. Scarcity imposed by regulation became financial value. Ferrari sits in a different category entirely. The company's total market valuation runs to tens of billions, and Formula One is substantially responsible for that. Not because Ferrari wins constantly. The team has experienced extended periods of underperformance relative to expectation, but because Formula One participation transformed Ferrari from a manufacturer of expensive cars into a cultural institution. The brand carries emotional weight that no advertising budget could manufacture independently. People support Ferrari in a way that resembles supporting a religion more than following a sports team. That loyalty translates into pricing power, wait lists, licensing revenue, and brand extensions that have nothing directly to do with racing results. The sport also collides continuously with geopolitics in ways that complicate the clean commercial narrative. Haas lost its primary title sponsorship almost overnight in 2022, following events connected to Russia and Ukraine, creating an immediate revenue crisis that took the team time to manage. Formula One races in Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Azerbaijan, and other markets where the hosting fees are substantial and the political context is complicated. The commercial rights holder takes an explicit position that the sport promotes dialogue through participation. Critics take a different view. The argument happens regularly and is unlikely to be resolved, but the underlying demand keeps growing. The combination of cost caps creating closer competition, drive to survive expanding the audience, new street circuits in commercially valuable markets, and the scarcity of team ownership rights has produced a period of genuine business transformation. The sport that spent most of its history as an engineering spectacle for a dedicated European audience is now a global luxury media property with sponsorship economics that justify the participation costs in ways the tobacco era never quite managed at this scale. Only one team wins each race weekend. 19 drivers lose. 9 teams fail to win. Entire seasons of development can be rendered irrelevant by a regulation change that redistributes aerodynamic advantage across the grid. A dominant team can become midfield within a single rule cycle. A struggling team can become championship contenders. The margins are thousandths of a second. The financial stakes are hundreds of millions of dollars. The variables outside any team's control include competitor development rates, regulatory interpretation, driver availability, sponsor financial health, manufacturer commitment cycles, and the decisions of a small number of people who control the sport's commercial structure. You are not buying a stable business. You are buying a position inside the most expensive, most technically sophisticated, most globally visible competition in motorsport, at a moment when that competition has finally started generating returns that justify the cost of participation. The cars are almost secondary. What you are buying is the right to be inside something that cannot be replicated in a sport that has finally learned how to monetize the obsession it always generated. The racing delivers the spectacle. The spectacle sells everything else.